Hey guys, my name is Tori Olivares. I'm a senior here at the University of Arkansas. The organization that I chose to um, do my internship at is the Downtown Austin Community Court. So this community court um, predominantly serves our homeless population here in Austin, and we do that by providing court services at a lower expense, case management, community service. We have a storage program as well. So what makes this court different is because we serve the homeless population that is different within itself. This population, majority of the time, doesn't have funds to pay for court, lawyers, things like that. So instead of giving them a fine to resolve their case, we will actually mainly substitute it with either a $50 or less fine. And if the person is completely indigent, we will substitute that fine completely with community service hours. And those community service hours are determined by our prosecutor and our case manager. So the program that I'm working on specifically is called Mobile Court. So Mobile Court is basically what it sounds like. So it's court somewhere else. We do this to kind of get out in the community and meet people where they are because the word court to this type of population is really scary, and we understand that. And so meeting them where they are and having this friendly face that wants to help and aid them significantly reduces those barriers for these people so that they're able to resolve their case and kind of get maybe set on the right track to getting them stable um a more stable life than that they had been living. So by the time that actually this will be updated, I'll actually have already presented this presentation to our advisory board. And our advisory board is kind of composed of public defenders, prosecutors, and lawyers that are around the city that help to shape our budget, any other program things that we want going out, or pilots to start up type of things. So in this, okay, so this first kind of data set and visualization is based off of every single outcome we've had from a mobile court case starting in 2023 to present. 2023 is when the mobile court pilot program launched, and it has now become a more permanent program. Um, so that's where that data is coming from. So we can see here that majority of the population has actually been convicted of their citation. Whether it was a camping state law or city ordinance, a speeding ticket, um, public intoxication, possession of drug paraphernalia, things like that. So it's only Class C misdemeanors. Um, and the other half of that, majority of them have been dismissed through a plea bargain. So if they had more than one case open, our judge opted to dismiss majority of the cases and either keep one or two, and that individual will do community service to completely get the case dismissed. So I just wanted to kind of put this out here first before we get into the rest of the presentation. So what we have here are three different hyperlinked data sets. All the data that compiles these three data sets were again from our mobile court cases from 2023 to now, and they all revolve around the citation types that we have, the zip code or the area, like the general area that we serve, and the outcomes of them. Just a background for you. We only handle cases within the city of Austin jurisdiction, which did get expanded outside of just downtown. So we now kind of extend a little bit further north and a little bit further southeast. So yes. So here, this first one is our citation types by our zip codes. So how I did this is I organized it and split it up between every single citation type that we have come into contact with. Majority of them being failure to have insurance, possession of drug paraphernalia, public intox, and camping. And by having it spread out this way, we can see that the most populated and frequent area that we have possession of drug paraphernalia citations is in 78701. So 78701 is downtown Austin, where the majority of our camping citations are as well. which we'll see here. This is also 78701. It's actually the same zip code that my office is in, which what makes it kind of convenient for this population as well. But this data set kind of just continues with every single one that we've had, and it organizes them like that so that we can see maybe where our efforts need to be more concentrated or something different. And I will actually just continue on to the next one instead of going back to the slide because it will take me back here. So the next data set that we have is our outcomes by citation types. So from that same data, I took every single case and listed them out by how the case got resolved, or the outcome that the case had. So if we're looking at deferrals just means that instead of completely dismissing it or fully convicting the person of a crime, they will basically push back the court appearance date to a later time so that they can either get, if it was insurance, so that they can obtain their insurance, or they have to meet with a case manager regularly, etc. So we can see here deferrals mainly happened with public intoxication cases, followed by this other category. And the way that this data system kind of does that, or it aggregates this other citation type thing by the citation types that have happened less than like 6 times. So it's not that we don't actually know what it is. It's just that because it's happened less than 6 times, it decides to group them all together into this other category, just for ease of reading. But similar to the other one, it continues on. So we have resets, we have jail credit or total layouts, no contest, and we had one unknown case that the person just never came back for, so we actually just don't. Yeah, we just don't know. And our last one over here is the number of citations total by the zip code. So we can see that majority of our citations happen in 78701, which is again that downtown area where most of our homeless population does reside. So it's not too surprising that that's where the majority of these are happening. Same thing, this other category, it's smaller areas that they don't happen as much. What I found interesting was this one right here, is 78745. And this zip code is honestly not too populated by our homeless populations. But what we discovered is that it's actually in the same zip code as the sobering center, which is a AA or NA recovery center for people. So we found it kind of interesting that that had a giant uptick. And so our takeaway from that was that sending this data to our police department would be beneficial to kind of maybe have more officers along this side of the area, so they can actually easily and more efficiently take these people to a recovery center to get help that they need. So going back to our presentation, we'll go to our next slide. One of the giant programs that I have begun to implement is this Texas County Court database. So because we only serve individuals within the city of Austin jurisdiction, people will come to us that knowing that they have citations in other counties. So we are in Travis County, that's where the city of Austin is. So this database has contains Travis County, our current one, and all of the neighboring counties, as well as the bigger cities such as Dallas and Houston, which is Harris County. Because we can't give out legal advice because we're not lawyers, we are not allowed to give them or tell them what they need to do because that's not within our role. So I created this resource to give these people guidance to where they need to go next to resolve their case, because they're coming to us willingly and they want to get it resolved so that it doesn't impact them going further. So I think that it would be beneficial for us to do this because we're not just turning away these people, which leaves a bad rap on our organization, but instead kind of shows that we do want to help, even though it's not within our personal jurisdiction to do so, we still want to help these people. So yeah, there's that. Um, so this clinical diversion program analysis is part of our case management thing. So the clinical diversion program is basically the case management backbone of our core services. So how this program works is we have case managers embedded within our court services um, to help them get any vital documents that they need, whether it's like birth certificate, social security card, IDs, driver's license, etc. Connect them with housing, connect them with food, shelters, things like that. So this is a very, very big part of mobile court and how it functions to kind of reduce recidivism rates and help these people get off on a good start. So the next three slides is data from the clinical diversion program and its correlation to mobile court. So this first one, I took all of our intake data from mobile court events from 2023 and split them up by people who were eligible for this CDP program and people who were eligible. So as we can see, majority of are eligible for this program, and that eligibility status is set forth by the prosecutor, judge, and case manager. Um, and it only has two requirements. It deals with housing. So like if the person is actually homeless or if the address they have listed or received mail at is a registered shelter, and income status. Um, there are a few outliers that happen on a case-by-case basis, but majority of our people who are enrolled in CDP are truly homeless and have no source of income. So from that population group, we split it into the people who actually enrolled that were eligible. So majority of the people who were eligible did enroll and did come back to complete that, which I'll get to next. And a little less than half weren't enrolled. And this is based on the case manager and prosecutor discretion if they think the person would be a good fit for the program, if they think that they would actually come back to complete their requirements, things like that. So continuing on, these are the total completion rates for our CDP program from mobile court. So we can see that majority of the people do complete their requirements in time and get their case dismissed. Roughly 30% of them are still in progress. Those are their requirement due date is actually in August, so they're coming up pretty soon. And then like 15% of them haven't completed because they haven't returned. It's pretty slim that we don't see people who come back to our office to either get case management or something else. So yes. And my last kind of pilot that I'm implementing has to do with our jurisdiction and our partner map. So this map over here on the left with the blue dots is where we have our current mobile court events. And it looks like it's a lot of them are pretty repeated, so they actually do stack up. So there are a lot of them. That's just how it is in the map. And this map on the right with the orange and white dots is where we could potentially expand to for partners, vendors, referral resources, and things like that within the city of Austin limits in our jurisdiction. So we can see that there's a lot of them. And coming up with this is just identifying these partners was basically predominantly word of mouth from our clients, where they're frequently going, who's like where people are referring them to type of resources. So majority of these resources in this orange map are, again, those shelters, food pantries, churches who have food pantries and other resources, referral resources. So places like the sobering center, as I mentioned earlier, other recovery centers, any other transitional housing and things like that. And the purpose behind this was kind of just to create a visualization so we can show where we are now and where we could be in the future and where our services are predominantly concentrated so we can see the trends and compare that to where we can expand to in the future to help more people. So yeah, that is all I had. That's my work email, so please ignore that. But thank you.